So as you're aware, the police are investigating a serious assault on cricketer Jesse Ryder, which occurred in Mirville last night. Police have been working through the day to put together a picture of what has happened and to identify and locate the persons involved. This is our understanding of what has happened to date. At about 12:30 a.m, Jesse Ryder and a group of his teammates were at the Aikman's Bar in Mirville. An altercation has taken place on the footpath outside Aikman's involving Jesse and a group of at least 2 other males. The altercation was brief. Following that incident, Ryder and 2 other persons walked across the road towards McDonald's, where his Wellington teammates had been purchasing some food. A second altercation has taken place at the entrance to McDonald's car park, involving one of the males from the earlier group. In that incident, it appears that Jesse has been the victim of a serious assault and has suffered head injuries as a result. Ambulance and police were called at about 12:44 a.m. Jesse was taken to hospital, remains in intensive care. The hospital advised that Jesse is in a critical condition. He is in an induced coma as a result of suffering multiple injuries. He is still being assessed for a number of injuries, and we are not prepared to discuss that any further. We have conducted a full examination at Aikman's and McDonald's car park, and at this stage have not located anything of major significance. We believe at least 10 or more people have witnessed some of the events, and we have been speaking to witnesses throughout the day to get a clearer picture of what has taken place. There are CCTV cameras in the area, and we're now going through the process of downloading and reviewing that footage so we can have a clearer picture of what has taken place. At this stage, we have not identified the people involved in the incident, but we do have positive lines of inquiry, and we will be focusing on identifying and locating those people and speaking to them. Although the Wellington players had been at a licensed premise during the evening, there is no indication at this stage that alcohol was a contributing factor to the assault. We are asking for any witnesses to the incident to contact the police and calling for the people involved to come forward and speak to us about it.
At Cricket Wellington, we are extremely saddened by the incident. We're very concerned for Jesse's well-being, of course. He's been a big part of the team, a big part of the organisation for a long time now. So we're very concerned about his welfare. Our primary focus right now is Jesse's welfare, and that involves working closely and supporting his family and his management as much as we can, hospital staff of course as well. We're also working very closely with the police in terms of their investigation. We'll be supporting them with any requests for information that we can offer. I would at this stage like to acknowledge all of the well wishes which we've received through Cricket Wellington in particular for Jesse and his recovery. They've come from both players and fans, New Zealand, Wellington, New Zealand and internationally, and they're very much appreciated. But I should say at this point in time, obviously our primary focus is Jesse's welfare. We remain very concerned. We're very hopeful that he'll recover quickly, and we're working very closely with the police in that regard.
Yeah, obviously the cricket community's in shock with what's happened to Jesse. And firstly, we'd like to say that our entire focus is on his health and well-being at the moment. He's obviously in a serious condition. I'd like to think that, like Peter's just done, the many well wishes, we've had enormous support throughout the country from a number of stakeholders and around the world inquiring as to Jesse's well-being. Also, I'd like to thank the St John's people who attended to him when they were first on the scene, and they did a fantastic job. And we'd also like to thank the police. They've done a fantastic job to date as well, and clearly the people working at the hospital on him at the moment. It's a sad day for us. A number of players around the country in shock, as you know. Our focus now is on Jesse and his well-being.
Questions? Police perspective, are you talking about 2 entirely separate assaults or a continuation of the same assault?
One incident where has gone to a second incident. We believe the same people were involved in both incidents, but one person has I believe, assaulted Jessie in the car park of McDonald's.
Do you believe it's provoked?
I don't know the background as to what caused the incident, and that's what we're focusing on now to understand why this took place.
Do you have descriptions of the alleged offenders?
We do, and we do have them captured on CCTV footage as we're working through getting that downloaded so we can fully understand what they look like and pursue avenues to actually identify them.
You say his injuries of a critical nature. Are we looking at something life-threatening here?
All I can tell you that he's in a critical condition, and that's probably where I'm limited to comment on.
Is there any indication weapons were used or anything like that?
No, there's not.
You think it was the same person in both occasions of the assault?
So if we just take it through the scenario, there was the initial incident involving at least 2 to 3 people involved in that scenario. And as Jesse has gone towards the car park at McDonald's, he's been followed by 2 of the 3 people, we believe, and one of those 2 has assaulted Jesse.
Was Ryder drinking?
I said they're at a licensed premise. Again, we're still obviously looking at that component, but I don't believe that's an aggravating feature in this matter.
Have the 3 people been removed from the bar before the assault?
No, they have not, or not that I'm aware of.
Were they denied entry back into the bar after the assault?
We're still speaking to the staff in relation to that. I personally haven't reviewed all the documentation from those inquiries. I'm not saying that didn't occur, but I'm not fully appraised of those inquiries yet.
Reports suggest the mother of one of the attackers was there. Is that something you're aware of?
Again, I don't know the actual identities of who these people are, and there was a female present in the wider group. What the relationship is to this group, I couldn't tell you exactly.
Are there clear pictures of them on the CCTV footage?
My understanding, it's not too bad, but bear in mind that we believe they were also inside the establishment, so we believe there will be some reasonable footage available to us.
Was Ryder's girlfriend at the time?
I don't know who Ryder's girlfriend is, to be honest.
No, she wasn't.
How did the offenders leave the scene?
Again, we're working through that. When the assault occurred, the person that we believe has assaulted Jesse has gone through what I would describe as the McDonald's car park area. Where he went after that, I don't honestly know just yet.
Do you know where his teammates were when the second assault was taking place?
Yes, they'd all been in the in Aikman's, and they'd left to go across the road, my understanding, to McDonald's to get some food, and he was heading in that direction.
So they were inside the store?
I believe so.
So Jesse was by himself when...
No, he was with 2 other people, and they were walking in the direction of McDonald's.
We've been told that people actually pulled some of the attackers off Ryder. Is that the case?
My understanding that members of the public have come forward and assisted to try and break up this altercation, and we're appealing to those people to come forward. We may have already spoken to them, but again, we are asking that anyone who was present who saw it to come forward and to explain what they saw and what they did.
Is this the first time there's been a serious assault of this nature at the bar?
It's news to me. I personally don't know. Sorry.
Was Jesse conscious when the ambulance arrived at the scene?
Again, I don't know those facts. I don't know. Sorry.
Does Wellington think there any policies in place in regards to Jesse Riley being in the bar? Is this a violation of his contract being in the bar?
It's not a violation of his contract, no. There are some alcohol protocols around the team, the senior men's team, as there are with other sports teams, of course. And so my understanding of the events has been described through the police is that those protocols were being met last evening. So from that point of view, the organisation's point of view, we don't have any direct concerns with the fact that Jesse was with his teammates last night.
What does this mean for Jesse's contract with the IPL?
It's too early to know about that. We're just all focused on Jesse and his health. As we said earlier, he's in a serious condition, and that's got to be our attention at the moment. And those sorts of questions will be answered in due course.
When was he due to fly out?
He was due to depart for the IPL, I think, early next week. But we need to wait and see how he goes in the next couple of days, obviously.
Have the Daredevils been in contact today?
Not with me. They may well have been with his manager. It's important, probably, for me to note as well that Aaron Clee his manager is at the hospital with Jesse, with his immediate family, and his entire focus and attention's on Jesse at the moment, otherwise he would have been here. We've been inundated with phone calls from a number of people in the cricket world over the last, or throughout the morning. You can't get back to all of them. There will be a number of questions that people will have about the situation from a cricket perspective, but we're just not there yet. The entire focus has to be on Jesse and his health at the moment.
There have been numerous rumours in the last few weeks about Jesse being back drinking again and drinking heavily in some reports. Were the Players Association aware of that?
Look, we've been dealing with Jesse for 10 years now, and there's been a number of well-documented instances and issues during that time. We've had a support program with New Zealand Cricket and Cricket Wellington around Jesse in the last wee while, and some very well qualified medical people have been supporting him. He has had drunk some alcohol in the last 3 or 4 weeks at 1 or 2 events, and we became aware of that, and we've tried to reinvigorate that support network around him. I think it's important to realise, as we all know, Jesse's been fighting some demons over the years, and he struggled with them. And it will be an ongoing battle for Jesse, and we need to do all we can to help him. But he's got those demons, and so it shouldn't be a surprise in the future if we have to deal with isolated issues. But what I will say, and it's been made very clear to us by the police today, is that Jesse was having a few drinks with his teammates at the conclusion of their season in Aitman's bar. The actual assault was not an alcohol-fueled incident. So I hope that answers your question.
I just wondered if you were aware of specific behavioural changes in recent weeks.
I've been aware of specific instances where Jesse has been drinking alcohol. I don't want to go into any more detail around that in terms of behaviour and his ongoing counselling and support in that area.
What sort of support are you providing to Ryder's family at the moment?
New Zealand Cricket have been fantastic. New Zealand Cricket have offered to fly his family down here and be with him at the moment and pay for all that support and make sure he gets all the support he needs. You know, I was woken to this news very early on this morning and immediately spoke with David White at New Zealand Cricket, and their support has been exemplary, and as too has been Cricket Wellington's. So we have, from a player welfare point of view, have been delighted with the support that Jesse's been receiving.
What players was he out with last night?
Look, he was out with the Wellington team. They went for a few drinks at Aitman's bar. Some members of the team left. Others went to get some food from McDonald's, and he was in that group. Unfortunately, he was slightly behind that group when he went across the road to McDonald's.
Have any of his Wellington teammates been able to shed any light on how this may have occurred or how the situation may have arisen?
I don't think it's appropriate for me to talk about that at the moment. This is obviously the subject of a police investigation, and we're limited to what we can and can't say in that regard. What I will say about his Wellington teammates, they are devastated, and they are very, very concerned for his well-being.
Brian, have you got a message for those who have done this?
Well, I'd ask them to come forward because it's had a lot of high profile, and we would like to speak to them as to get their explanation as to why it's occurred. It is a serious matter. We're treating it seriously, and we will be looking for them. So rather than waiting for them to knock on the door, why don't they come and see us?
I'd ask you the same question as I asked Heath. Have any of his Wellington teammates been able to contribute to the inquiry?
Yes, bear in mind that they were obviously present at the pub, at the bar, so we're obviously speaking and trying to work out who was present to see whether they can add to what the interaction was between the two groups prior to this incident. And bear in mind, some of them were over at McDonald's, and they may have seen what took place. They may have seen the person run past. I don't have a full picture of that, but I know that at least one player has been interviewed in relation to what he witnessed.
Heath, what were Ryder's movements after the game in the lead up to this assault?
Look, I'm not aware of exactly of his movements, other than that he was with the team, and the team at the conclusion of the match obviously disappointed with their result in the game, and then they went to have a quiet drink after the match at Aitman's bar. So, and Jesse was with the team the whole way through.
So you didn't quite drink for 6 hours.
Sorry?
The game concluded around 6 o'clock, so there's a large gap there.
I don't know the exact timings. It would be unfair of me to speak on the timings. I'm just aware that they went and had a drink at Aitman's Bar. That's all I can tell you at the moment.
The assault wasn't alcohol related. Do you know or have a theory on what may have started it or caused it?
Again, I'm not prepared to speak. I don't actually know, and it would be wrong to go down a line that I don't know to be a fact. So again, I don't know what caused it, and that's why we need to speak to all the people that were involved and get their view on what occurred.
Okay.
Just one more question. Just going back to the second incident, you said 2 people followed him into the McDonald's car park.
Correct.
You must have seen that on the tape. Would that indicate that he was hit from behind, or did the 2 of them front up to each other? Or?
Yeah, I'm not going to speculate any further than say that there was an assault in the car park, and as a result of that assault, he suffered those injuries.
Was it in or outside the car park? Because the owner of McDonald's here is saying he's reviewed TV footage and there was no assault that took place in his car park.
I would say, if my understanding, it's the entrance to McDonald's car park. Exactly whether that's the footpath or how close to the actual establishment, but my understanding there is some CCTV footage that would indicate what took place.
Okay. Have you seen that?
Thanks.
I haven't, no.